Hey guys and welcome back. Today I'm talking about my favourite beauty things from the month of April 2016. I have quite a lot to get through and I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to jump straight in. I also have a book at the end. So the first thing I've been loving this month is from Tarte, and it is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. No surprises here. I bought this when I was in LA a couple of weeks ago and I've been using it pretty much every day since then. I absolutely love it. I think it's just the perfect balance of matte and shimmer for me. The texture of the eyeshadows is beautiful. They're so blendable. I love the shimmers. You can really tell which colours I've used the most over the past couple of weeks because they have the big dents in them. So these three I've been using loads, and then these two as well, along with these two a little bit, just to either put along my lash line or to smoke out. These ones are equally as beautiful. These are all actually matte, these five. But I really think they're all colours that I would wear. So I open up this palette and I'm like, what should I go for today? I like everything. I feel like all of these colours today. I love the packaging as well. I think it's beautiful. It just really sings to me. Anything with kind of slightly clashing, like pinky reddy kind of tones to it, I absolutely love. I think it looks really kind of sleek and expensive. This was $45. I think you can only get Tarte still on QVC in the UK, but I'm going to pop links below to where you can get these products in the UK. Tarte's not the most easily available brand here, but it is amazing, and I really think they're just absolutely bossing it at the moment. And staying on the same vein with Tarte, I've also been loving their Rainforest of the Sea foundation, which I picked up at the same time as this. I know a lot of people have spoken about this in videos recently, which was actually why I was intrigued to try it in the first place. It is really, really nice. It's quite a thin texture. It's actually a water-based foundation. It has quite a high percentage of water in it, and so it's meant to be quite nourishing, and it doesn't kind of dry cakey and things like that, which I do find to be true. It's quite a runny texture, which I personally quite like. It's not one of those like really watery textures like the Giorgio Armani Maestro and the YSL one. It is thicker than that, but it is still quite thin. The one thing I really hate about this is the packaging. It's not practical. I mentioned this in the haul video that I put it in the week before last. It just isn't practical, and it's already got quite messy, and I've only had it for a couple of weeks. But it just really is very flawless. It's very kind of lit from within. It's not shimmery, but it definitely is glowy. It's not like shiny, but it glows. And it stays on for a really good amount of time too. So I'm a really big fan of that. The coverage is quite great considering its texture. It's very light texture but high coverage. So I've actually only got one other makeup item to talk about this month, and it's from Kiko. This was actually meant to go into my new and beauty video, which is going up next week because it is new. It's from their summer collection. And it's called their Out of Bounds eyeliner. But it was that good that after using it for a few days, I was like, I actually have to put this in my monthly favourites video because it is that good. Considering the price point, Kiko is very, very affordable. It's just brilliant. The packaging is really lovely. It's in this nice kind of, it's one of those funny metallic colours that's like halfway in between gold and silver, very pale gold. The one thing I would say is that the writing is wearing off already, and I can literally just scratch it off right now. But that doesn't really bother me too much. What I do love about this is the nib. It's really long and it's curved, so it makes drawing on your eyeliner really easy. I love liquid eyeliner. I wear it pretty much every day. I'm actually not wearing it today, which is kind of unusual for me, but it's kind of my go-to, like, I'm in a hurry, slap on some liquid liner. And this is one of the best ones I've tried. And what I was also really surprised at was how long it lasted. So the couple of times that I've worn this for a full day and not had the chance to touch it up, I've looked in the mirror at the end of the day and it's still been there. Whereas normally with liquid eyeliners, even really good ones that I really love, they do wear on the inner corners. So I have to say, you know, top marks from me. I'll definitely be repurchasing this. If it's part of their like permanent range anyway. I'm not that familiar with Kiko. I just know that this one in this packaging is definitely from their summer collection, but it might exist as a permanent product. I don't know. If you do, let me know. If not, I'm gonna go and look it up on the internet anyway. So yeah, absolutely loving that. I'd really recommend that. For skincare, I've got one thing this month that has really kind of rocked my world, and I've needed it, seriously. It's the Keels Clearly Corrective Dark Circle Perfector with SPF 30. A few reasons why I love this. First of all, it's really, really hard to find eye cream that has SPF in it. I mean, maybe I exaggerate a little bit. There are some on the market, but in my opinion, more of them should have SPF in them, because I've noticed as I've started to approach my late 20s that that's the first place that I've started to notice my skin really aging. So I do want SPF around my eye area, and it's also so common in foundation and in face cream to have SPF, but not so much in eye cream. So I was really excited about that for a start, regardless of how the product actually worked. However, this is a really good little product, especially for traveling and if you are having late nights, if you're tired and you've got eye bags. It's really, really good because it's an eye cream, it has SPF and it has coverage. And it's a similar product to my First Day Beauty Triple Duty eye cream that I banged on about a couple of years ago for a long time and I'm still a big fan of, but this has more actual coverage. It's more like a real concealer as opposed to a brightener. It really is exceptionally good and it just really makes a difference. It brightens up your under eye area, and I even, like, it sounds really weird, but I even put it on my nose. I tend to get quite a red nose, and I find like my nose is an area that also I don't want to get burnt, so I feel like any extra SPF on my nose is going to be good, but it tends to like just, I don't know, I quite like to put a little bit of this on my nose. It's like nice and brightening, moisturising at the same time. SPF, great. Put it on my nose as well as under my eyes. Am I weird? Probably, but this is good stuff. And then a couple of one other bath and like body related thing is a nail product, and it's the Deborah Lippmann cuticle oil. I've never been a fan of cuticle oils because I have this phobia of having oily fingertips, like it drives me absolutely bananas. However, I really like this one because it comes with a brush instead of a dropper, so you can really precisely like just brush it onto your cuticles instead of like dropping it on and then it all goes down the side and then it gets onto your fingertips. It's a lot more precise, it's really nourishing, it's not too greasy feeling if you do get it on your fingers, and it smells lovely too, so I've really been enjoying that. I've used it absolutely loads as well and I've barely made a dent, so really, really liking that. I've really been discovering some new hair products this month because I rarely have 3 hair favourites, but the first one is the Olaplex Hair Perfector number 3. I've heard loads about this online. I actually bought it just after Christmas and it sat on my like bathroom cabinet kind of area for a few months, and I was kind of like, I need to use that, I need to use that, I need to use that. But because it's a treatment, I kind of forget, and if I'm in a hurry, then I don't have time to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then another friend of mine actually said, like, oh, have you tried this? It's really good. I was like, I have that at home and I haven't tried it. I need to try it. And I made myself try it. I left it on overnight. You're meant to leave it on, I think, for like a minimum of 10 minutes, it says, but a lot of people do it overnight. Put it onto dry hair before I go to bed, tie it in a bun. It's not like really greasy or like particularly liquidy. It gets kind of very nicely absorbed into your hair, so it doesn't get all over your pillow or anything. Slept in it and then washed my hair the next morning. The next day, 2 separate people commented on how shiny my hair was. And for a blonde, it's actually quite hard to get shiny blonde hair because it doesn't have that natural like light reflecting kind of element to it that darker hair does. So yeah, it really made a noticeable difference to my hair. It's smoother, it's shinier. I have had the full Olaplex treatment in salon and I wasn't like totally wowed by it. I really like the at-home treatment. It's quite expensive. I think it's around 20 to 25 pounds for this little bottle, but it does last you quite a long time. I've probably used this 4 times now and I'm just over a third of the way through, and I've got a lot of hair. I've got very long hair and quite thick hair, so yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And then 2 other hair products I discovered this month. These are both travel sizes because I got them when I was out in LA, are the Keels Amino Acid Shampoo and Conditioner. I was at Coachella with Keels, as a guest of Keels, so they filled up our bathrooms with all these Keels products that I've never tried before. And it's a really great opportunity to just try and test stuff. But, and I'm obviously like in that, letting you guys know, I did get given these by Keels. And I have to say, I was so floored by these products. I never expected Keels to do good shampoo. It's always a brand that I've just associated with skincare. And, you know, I know they do other things, but they're just so, I mean, to me, in my mind, they're so aligned with skin and, you know, body creams and things like that. I wasn't expecting amazing shampoos and conditioners from them. These are incredible. I'm just about finished with these travel sizes and I'm 100% going into Selfridges tomorrow to buy myself a full size of these because they are amazing. They're formulated with coconut oil, so they're really nourishing for your hair. If you have kind of dry, damaged hair, they just make your hair feel like new. They're like so, I don't know, they just make it feel so soft and shiny and happy. Yeah, really, really surprised and impressed with those. And then last but not least this month, I have a book to share with you all. And bear with me after I show you the cover. It is called Letters to My Fanny and it's by Cherry Healey. So I've actually known Cherry, I don't know her that well, but I've met her a few times over the years and I've known her for quite a few years now, probably about 3 years. And I got invited to her book launch the other day. and arrived, and it was full of like fanny everything. Like they had fanny cupcakes. It was quite something. But she's a very funny lady, and she's a very kind of charismatic lady as well. And I was like, great, you know, this is amazing, really happy for her. She's launched a book, took it home, started reading it, and got totally hooked. It's one of those books that is somewhere in between a comedy book, a self-help book, and an autobiography. So I feel like it's one of those things, like it's not a hard read. She writes it very colloquially. It sounds like you're sitting there having a conversation with her, and I find that very charming, and it makes me actually laugh out loud, which is quite hard to do. I sound like such a boring old miserable git, but I don't laugh out loud that often, and I have actually like laughed out loud a lot reading this book. I'm only about a third of the way through it, or actually just past a third of the way through it. And I've just really enjoyed it. It's written in sections as well, so you can like dip in and out of it, and it doesn't really matter. You don't have to like remember exactly, you know, what was happening or what she was talking about before, because it is quite segmented. And I just, yeah, it's really good. It's so candid. It's like those cringy stories that you would never tell anyone, or you would only tell like your best friend. She's like gone into all of that detail, and it's not just about fannies either. It's divided up into sections talking to her whole body. So a lot of it is very girly and is talking about periods and sex and things like that. But it is just very charming and funny, and it makes you kind of think about the way you treat yourself and your body as well. And I was really impressed by it. I didn't really know what to expect, and I'm quite prudish as well, so I was like, oh my god, look at that cover, I don't know what to think. But it is so good, and I would definitely recommend picking it up. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it on your Kindle if you don't want to read this on the tube and be like. That is it for my monthly favourites. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you have an amazing May. I'll see you again on Sunday with a haul video, so make sure you're subscribed if you're not already to see that, and I will see you then. Bye guys.